Are you as full as I am? I just feel like after you eat a big meal, you just want to go and sleep for a while. But I don't know if I could sleep. I think it would be just sit and, we have cattle. I live on a ranch in Texas and currently, and the cattle, after they chew and eat for a while, they go lay down and chew their cud. And so there's a part of me that says, I'd like to go down and chew my cud for a while. Anybody else want to join me? Sounds really good from a finishing school, doesn't it? Don't you forget it, you heard it here. Well, I'm going to be shifting gears a bit, and I'll probably be the odd one in all of these groups with my topic. But we went back and forth with what should I bring to the table here, and I do teach on life skills, the whole gamut, and so it's always a challenge for me when someone says, well, tell me a little bit about what you do. Where do I begin? So my topic today is going to be on clothing. Clothing is meant to cover and communicate, but how many of us realize many heated family arguments, especially during the teen years, are around clothing? Anybody have that experience? Maybe you remember yourself as a teenager, or if you have teens. I'm always amazed that some children seem born with a natural ability to put an outfit together, and others struggle trying to decide what to wear each day. Parents of young children go shopping and buy the clothes for their kids and bring it home without giving a whole lot of thought to what the child would like to wear, until one day the child, more often than not, she's a girl, goes to her closet and announces she has nothing to wear. And she goes to mom and says, Mom, I have nothing to wear. And her mom said, oh, good, let's go shopping. And so they head to the mall to go shopping. As soon as they get to the mall, mom starts pulling out outfits like she's always done, but her daughter doesn't like anything she's showing her. And the battle over clothing begins. I remember my own struggle with identifying what was appropriate to wear. I was probably in about the 4th or 5th grade when all of a sudden clothing started to make me curious. And of course, I'd been wearing clothing up to that point, thank goodness, but it wasn't something I gave much thought to. And about that time, I started looking around, and by 7th grade, I was noticing what the other girls were wearing and started to imitate what they were doing. I remember one girl in junior high, she always matched her shirt to her socks. And I thought, oh, okay, that's what you do. So I went and tried to match all of my shirts to my socks. That was a bit of a problem because we had a very, very limited family budget. We were on welfare. And I didn't have enough socks to match all my shirts. And the days that I would get dressed without that matching component, I felt terribly self-conscious. As I entered into high school, super short skirts were really popular, and so were platform shoes, which ironically, if you've been shopping, they're in style again. And I was so proud to have saved up enough money to buy a pair of white platform shoes. Now, I'm about 8 feet. Whoa! I cut down my height just a bit for you. I'm 5'8", and so when I put on 5-inch heels, I was rather towering. But I had saved up enough money to buy these white platform shoes that I could wear with my Sizzler dress I had made in home economics. Now, for those of you that don't know, a Sizzler dress is just enough fabric to cover vital areas. And in case you moved, there was a pair of matching panties that went with it. So I would wear that to school with pride. And it was about a mile walk from my house up a major street to our high school. I walked down the street so proud of those white platform shoes and that Sizzler dress. I was totally unaware of what I was communicating to people passing by. In fact, I was so pleased, I thought how friendly all the drivers were when they would honk their horn at me. I thought, isn't that lovely? Yeah, oh, is right. My summers were consumed with getting the perfect tan. Living in the Northwest, that is not an easy feat. But I did accomplish it. I kind of wanted that copper tone look. And so when the weather would warm up, I would head off to the lake. And on my way to the lake, there was a gas station where a lot of the guys that I went to school with worked. And back in those days, we still had full-service gas stations. How many of you remember those? Yeah, that's where they still checked the oil and washed the windshields and all. And I've always liked to be busy. I'm a doer, and so I don't like just to sit still very long. And so while we would talk, I washed the windshields, and they would pump the gas. There was just one issue. Since I was going to the lake, I was also dressed for the lake. I had on a bright orange, something about this color, two-piece swimsuit. And I was washing the windshields. I never gave a thought to the messages that I was sending. In my mind, I was just avoiding excessive tan lines. Makes sense, doesn't it? So, on the way to the lake, I was totally unaware of what I was saying. I tell you these personal stories not because I'm proud of them or because I wanted you to laugh after lunch, but I tell you them because I often hear parents talk about how immodest or improper young people are dressed. And yes, I was both. I was both immodest and improper, but I was totally unaware. I was totally unaware. No one had ever taught me what my clothing was saying about my character, how to put together a wardrobe that would work for my lifestyle and be within my very limited budget. My teachers, they were my peers and the fashion magazines, and those aren't necessarily good teachers. It would be years before I would learn the power of a first impression and how to use clothing to accomplish my personal goals. Clothing is a big organizational issue for families. Daily, I hear from teens and parents about their struggles around this topic. While parents consider budgets and being appropriate, teens are consumed with having high self-esteem, fitting in with their peers, and body image. And what's the missing link? It's instruction. No one's teaching them this. One of my high school friends was obsessed with getting straight A's. Her entire focus was on history, math, and English. And while I agree my focus should have been on my academic studies, I'm sorry to say it wasn't. I was consumed with learning life skills. I was consumed. I wanted to learn how to dress, how to apply makeup, how to carry myself, how to communicate, and how to be a good friend. Sadly, that focus was reflected in my academic grades. Unlike my high school friend who had teachers to lead her and guide her through this academic pursuit, I was left to learn social skills through observation and trial and error. I always felt as though someone had a secret, but they wouldn't tell me what it was. I always felt everyone else knew, and why wouldn't they tell me? Teens who do receive instruction about their clothing personality, their body type, and personal coloring, and what their clothing communicates about them and their character, will experience higher levels of self-confidence and will learn how to use a wardrobe to achieve their life goals. It was years later that I was able to go back to school, and I was able to continue my education. At that time, I earned straight A's. Was that a coincidence? I don't believe so. Once I had acquired the necessary skills that I was looking for to live life successfully, then I was able to pursue my academic desires and goals. I'm grateful, I'm truly grateful for the struggles I've been through. And I've been through many of them. It was hard to pick one. But I'm really grateful for them because it's provided me with insight and sensitivity to be able to help others. In classes, I often have children, teens, and adults. They'll look at me, and I don't usually share these kinds of stories. And they'll say, Mrs. King, how did you know? And I smile and I say, I had a hunch. The truth is, I've probably been there and done that. Each June, I have the honor of presenting a camp called Deluxe Life Skills. I not only do programs for girls, but I also have a lot of programs I do for boys, young as 6, all the way up through corporate training. But this one particular camp, I would say, is my heartbeat, and it's called Deluxe Life Skills. We're 20 young ladies from high school, college, and beyond, come from across the United States and internationally. And during that week, we start at 8 in the morning, and we get done at 10 at night every day. And it is an intensive day. And we focus on etiquette, on civility, on image, on poise, on goal setting, time management, many of the things we're talking about here. And the ladies come to Texas, and they're not always excited about coming. In fact, more often than not, they come crying. Parents tell me of heated family arguments, just trying to get them there. I'll have parents very commonly call and say, Deborah, I know this is what my daughter needs, but how am I going to get her there? And I say, how do you get her to the dentist? You just simply say, this is what you're going to do. And I assure them that it will be a positive outcome. But what I'm always amazed about is, even though these gals come from all over the U.S. and internationally, that every year, without my planning or trying to make this happen, they come from modest country backgrounds to those that are born with all of the opportunities that money can afford. The common missing link is life skills. These are the things they don't have. Rarely does a lady come because she wants to. And those first nervous moments when they get there, you could hear a pin drop. And some of them are verbally arguing with their mothers, pleading to take them back home if the mothers happen to bring them. Many of them fly in and they're picked up at the airport. They don't have a way to get home. We used to be at this other location, and it was out literally in the middle of the country. And a dad was driving his 17-year-old daughter out, and he said to her, are you excited about the week? You know, it's going to be good. And she goes, no. And she goes, why is this way out in the middle of there's nothing out here? And he said, they do that on purpose so you can't run away. Thought, oh, thank you. Oh. Other parents will call and tell me that their daughter is delightful, but she's just lacking a few skills. I always encourage them, it's going to be a great week. Don't worry about it. And when they get there, it's not long before they're best friends, that they're friends on Facebook, that they're sharing phone numbers, and that they're actually trying to all figure out how to sleep in the same room. And by the last night, they've actually accomplished that in their single rooms. So they've figured out ways how they can all line up on one bed and sleep side by side, and then the rest are on the floor. But our final formal dinner is filled with toasting, hugs, tears, and promises that invitations to weddings will one day be sent. A radiant young lady will stand and present a toast. And she raises her glass and she says, no one except us knows what really took place this week. She says, we will forever be bonded by this experience. Every young lady, no matter her background, leaves forever changed. It truly is a week where they say, I remember when. Clothing and image are not shallow topics. They are not shallow topics. These life issues, once they're mastered, will benefit an individual for a lifetime. The truth is, life skills are vital, and they're used daily. I may be able to navigate through life quite nicely without a PhD, at least I have so far, but I'll always be lacking if I don't have life skills. I receive so many requests from mothers and women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond asking if they could attend a program like the younger girls attended, that I created a 3-day version just for them. And they come and they share with me their stories of how they have always thought there was a secret that no one would tell them. And they're thrilled that finally now, at this stage in their life, they get to set aside time to learn these skills. You know, it's never too late, and that's what I love about life skills. I don't know about you, I'm still learning. And people often ask me, why do you get tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again? And I said, no, because you know who needs this more than anyone? I do. I do. We learn what we teach, and I simply share with them and unlock the secrets that I wish someone else had unlocked for me. So I applaud all of you and the work that you're doing. It's tremendous, it's needed, and Marlene, thank you. Thank you for making a way for us to all link arms.